you want that hard shit, so bow your head and pray to the music. Underground, mainstream, he got it, whatever your thing is. So tap in and turn up. Tap in and turn up. Tap in and turn up. The Noize report, let's just in, hey. Lick a couple of shots, roll up your blunts and then rock to all these tracks. You ain't heard shit like this in your life. Find while your wolf is not. Bars over 808 drops. Goes ride the whip till he slaps on your block and spin it twice. No artillery clapping, let the heaters bang. CJ put respect on it when you speak his name. This where the timeless lives, no cap, all facts. Cycle here for the real, fuck the mother podcast. You know you want that hard shit, so bow your head and pray to the music. Underground, mainstream, he got it, whatever your thing is. So tap in and turn up. Tap in and turn up. Tap in and turn up. The Noize report, it's just in, hey.
I'm the music guy. This is the Noize Report. You know what we do here? We laugh, we have fun, we interview cool and interesting people. We talk about all kinds of random shit. Music, movies, pop culture, pretty much anything that comes up. And tonight ain't gonna be no different because we just gonna talk and records on and whatever y'all hear, you just gonna hear. Over to my left, my right, whatever side you see him on. This is Mr. Cade Henderson.
What is?
Works under the name of D3CADE. He's got a new record coming out. He comes our way courtesy of Excursion and them guys who tossed the info to him, and he contacted me, and we just go talk. So, with that said, greetings, fine sir. How are you today?
How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm just chilling.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Been writing all day, so
over here enjoying my pitch black. Brought this shit back out.
I haven't tried that one actually. I need to try that one.
This back in the day, this used to be an everyday thing, and it was a staple, dude. I lived on this shit. And they first time they made it in like 18 years. So when I read that, they're bringing pitch black back, so I was like, I got to get some. And I got like 17 cases in my son's room because we just went out and bought a whole shitload of it because it's only limited time. So I'm like stocked up on pitch black. But it's kind of like a sour grape almost. Sort of what it is, I think. So it's one of my favorites. Give everyone a little bit of background on you. Who you are, where you from?
So I go by D3CADE. I'm 28. I was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma at Children's Hospital. I was born with a birth defect called spina bifida. And for anybody that doesn't know, I'll just explain it. It's where my bottom two vertebrae in my spine never developed. So it caused my spinal cord to grow outside of my back. So I've had 30 different surgeries, and I was told I would never walk, never talk, never basically do shit. So here I am proving people wrong.
Way to do it, man. Always got to beat the odds. Like,
oh yeah,
that's
what I was sent here to do.
Yeah, like I won't go so far as to say miracles, but I have seen people with some pretty horrific stuff that have not only done things they were told they were never going to do, but have gone far beyond even that. Had a very good friend in high school who was in a car accident and it crushed his brainstem. They had to drill a hole in the back of his head. He was a all-star soccer player, and they said Kevin is never going to survive the night. And then he made it through the night, and then they drilled the hole in his head to relieve the pressure. Okay, he's going to survive, but he's never going to talk again. He's going to be a paraplegic, blah blah blah. 3 weeks later, he started talking. Okay, then he was never going to walk again or be able to move his limbs. About 3 months later, he was in a wheelchair, moving his arms and all of that. And today he is one of the best soccer coaches in the state of Michigan. So,
hell yeah,
yeah. So he
badass.
defied every expectation to get right back to where he was, and I love that. Like that to me that's the human spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that, you really can do anything you set your mind to.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you just got to do it.
Like you got to believe you can do it.
You got to believe in
That's
it.
the thing. Like, like you're never gonna do it if you don't believe you can do it, because the body's only gonna do as much as you believe the body can do, or as much as you're willing to push the body. But that's why when I read your thing, I knew like, okay, I got to talk to this dude because life is a challenge, man, and that's what it's about, man. Like it's just music wise, I guess what inspired you musically to want to do music? What inspired you to want to pursue it and that kind of
well, I kind of leads back into that my story. I wanted a way to tell my story and a way to vent. Really, music is how I vent, and I know there's kids out there going through crap like me.
Yeah.
So I have to tell them my story, and I bet a lot of people relate. So
yeah,
been able to do a lot of cool shit. So
music it's so powerful, and people don't understand like how powerful it is. Like they don't.
Hell, I cry sometimes when I write something.
Dude, I'll be the first. Look, I turned 52 years old this year. When I record this record with Dante and these guys, it's going to be my first solo record. Now, it's not the first record I've ever recorded.
Yeah.
It's going to be my record.
Yeah.
My story, my life in songs. Some of these songs, like I said, I've had these songs 20, 25 years. They've been in my head. They've traveled with me. And for lack of a better term, this is going to be a musical clusterfuck. Okay. Like this is it's going to be psychotic. People are going to just hear this and be like, what the fuck is this dude thinking? But I knew from the very beginning what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
My plan was always I was going to be a rock star. Oh, that's a cute dream. What's your plan B? I'm going to be a rock star.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if you fail? I'm going to be a rock star.
Mm-hmm.
There was no telling me otherwise. There was no plan B. I was never going to be a doctor. I was never going to be a lawyer. I was never going to be anything other than some form or another. I was going to be involved with music.
Yeah.
Because, I grew up in the front seat of a Peterbilt. Music and books were all I had. This was in the early 70s. We didn't have laptops. We didn't have cell phones. There were no TVs or anything that you could take in a semi truck to watch. There were no video game systems or anything.
Yeah.
Music was literally all I had.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what I am, like, and it's why it's so important to me. I tell my life through stories, whether it's Bob Seger, whether it's Blackfoot, whether it's Hank Sr., whether it's, like I can tell people exactly where I was on a certain day according to the music that I was listening to at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize that without that music, you'd have seen my ass on a most wanted poster a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I know a few people like that.
Yeah, like I'm gonna let y'all know.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have seen my ass on a most wanted poster if it wasn't for music keeping me. I mean, you almost see me on most wanted posters before any damn way. Without it, you'd have definitely seen me on it. But in all seriousness, like music has been so vital in. I see people who just listen to music, and then I see people who bleed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just that you can. It is who they are. Their very soul comes through, and you know, when you hear people like KSR1, when you hear people like Justin Furstenfeld from Blue October, you can tell how important music is to them because
Mm-hmm.
their soul is in that music. You know what I'm saying? It isn't just a song to them.
It's different.
You know, like Justin writes some of the most insane lyrics I've ever heard. And it's like, the music is serious when you literally fucking break down crying in the middle of the song.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I've
and
done that on a couple different songs.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like that's when you know that they're putting their heart into that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated Blue October. First time when I first heard Blue October, I hated them. What that God, it was awful. And I didn't get it. Like it didn't click in my brain what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard Every Man in America, where he was going through the divorce. He had the mental breakdown in the Minneapolis airport. You know, they put him in a mental institution. He was going through the drug overdoses. And he breaks down crying in this song because he's singing about having this mental breakdown at 2 a.m. in a Minneapolis airport, going through this divorce. He can't see his kids. He lost custody. He lost his visitation rights to his daughter.
That's that deep shit.
Bro, like I felt that shit to my heart.
It's hard to put that type of shit in a song, honestly.
You know, like
That's
nothing
real vulnerable.
Yeah, like nothing affects me more than my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought of losing my kids, oh man, that like, dude, I'm not even in your position, and I felt that hurt. Like, and then after that, I went out and like I had to have the tattoo because, you know, it was
I like
so
that.
deep. Yeah, like that's my Blue October.
Hell yeah.
And I mean, I've got tons of tattoos, but
Yeah.
that was the one that when I heard that song, I connected so deep to it. And then after that, I went back and re-listened to the stuff. And it was kind of like, damn, this dude is deep. Like this dude writes the type of shit that I want to write.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your heart, your soul, you're just bleeding onto the page. So, but influence-wise, who are some of your influences? Like who? Yeah, like who kind of?
I grew up on a lot of rock, but
okay.
I listened to a lot of rap too on my own.
Mm-hmm.
My mom did bump like Snoop and Dre and Ice Cube, Too Short.
Yeah.
Some rock bands would be Nirvana. I have to think about the rock bands. Basically, any heavy metal rock, as my uncles would blast that shit, and I loved every minute of it. I've actually seen Collective Soul perform.
Nice.
Third Eye Blind. I've seen them twice.
Nice.
A bunch of people. I've seen all kind of people. I've seen Bone Thugs.
Nice.
Bunch of different people. But yeah, my biggest influence, I'd say, I mean, it's the obvious one, Eminem. I'm a white rapper, so Eminem is probably my biggest influence. And then 3 6 Mafia, that's a big one. A lot of Texas rap, like Mike Jones, Little Flip, Zero. I grew up on all kind of shit. I grew up on country too. My grandma loved country, so
Scarface is one of my like big influences. Scarface to me, see, Scarface is a funny thing to me. Like, it's not that I obsess so much over his lyrics, but Scarface is kind of like Ice-T in the sense like those two have the coldest voices in hip hop. Like when you hear Scarface and when you hear Ice-T, there is no mistaking those voices.
It's them. Mm-hmm.
You know, like that is just there is no mistaking their G. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is some old school don't fuck with me street level
Immediately
gangster.
will slap the shit out of you.
Yeah, like when I heard Scarface say, "Never seen a man cry till I seen a man die," I was like, "Damn, that's
Believe that
cold."
shit.
That was cold. And just the tone, the timbre of his voice, and Ice-T the same way. He's got that timbre in his voice. It's just, it sounds so hard and rigid. Like, there's no mistaking
Yeah.
where that dude is from. Okay. You could tell this dude didn't grow up in no Hollywood Hills house.
Yeah.
None of that shit. Like, it just, and those are the two. Like, we were talking about it in the last interview. Like, there are certain rappers whose voice, you just instantly, like their voice almost kind of makes their character. Like, I don't think they would be as good as they are without the voice they have.
Yeah.
E40. If E40 didn't have that voice he had.
One of the most iconic.
Yeah. Scarface. I don't think if Scarface didn't have that rugged voice that he had,
that gritty.
Yeah, like, I don't think Scarface would be half as interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think Ice-T would be half as interesting if he didn't have that rugged voice.
Yeah.
And there's other ones like that. Jada. Jada's another one. When you hear Jada's voice, that's what makes Jada hard.
Damn, I forgot about that one. Hell yeah.
Badass lyricist.
Jadakiss. Yeah, he's dope.
DMX.
Yeah. Where my dogs at?
Yeah, like, that growl that he had made that shit even more convincing. Like if DMX would have sounded like Jay-Z or Nas, he wouldn't have been half as convincing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what made him, is he had that fucking and I was like, all right, yeah, that's real, But I'm with you, bro. Like, I'm influenced by everything. Like, first and foremost, you can tell I'm a metalhead, but then we got Prince and Pink Floyd and bands like Cyclone Temple, which is one of the greatest underground thrash metal records of all time. If you've never heard this record, Cyclone Temple, I Hate Therefore I Am. To me, it's probably the most underrated thrash record of all time.
Not gonna lie, I gotta go listen to that one. I'm not big on the underground stuff. I know a little bit underground, but
yeah. You hear people talk about Master of Puppets, Rain and Blood, records like that, and those are great records. But this was a band out of Chicago. It's my friend Greg. In 1991, he was a black dude that was playing thrash metal. One of the first. And people didn't take him serious. Black dude playing thrash, blah, blah, blah. Well, us fans, we took him serious because we knew Greg is a badass. And they wrote a record that was so far ahead of its time sonically, but the labels didn't know what to do with them. It's a thrash band with a black dude in it. And they thought, well, we're going to market them like Anthrax, and that was the wrong approach. And they fumbled the ball badly, Now, Greg looks back on it now, and they kind of laugh about it. And he tells amazing stories, and he still performs music, not thrash anymore, but he's a hilarious dude. But this record right here, I'm telling you right now, if you like thrash metal, this will blow your face off.
I'm open to it.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to sit around and listen to it all day. But
no, but that's the thing. See, music.
That's one of the things you got to be in the mood for.
Yeah, music. Going back to the music thing. Music is a vibe. It's a mood. Sometimes you want something like reggae that's chill. You got that vibe to it. Sometimes you want hip hop, and it can be fun hip hop. It can be, whoop, there it is, or bust a move, or come on, ride the train, something like that. Two Live Crew. And sometimes you want serious shit like KSR1 and Vinnie Paz and Diabolic. Sometimes you want pop music. Sometimes you want metal. Sometimes you want country. That's the thing. There's room for everything.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And that is what makes music great. Is people who say, I don't listen to that, or why would anyone listen to that? Because you can.
Right.
Because, like, you know, you're supposed to. You know, go to what we were talking about before we started. Look at Jelly Roll. Jelly started doing underground hip hop,
everything,
trap music. And now this man got the #1 country song.
That man been on three different charts, right? Rock, rap, and country.
You know,
shit's crazy.
And why is he doing it? Because he can.
Because he can. Exactly. Because he versatile.
Exactly. You know, and that's like me. Why am I writing my record the way I am? Because I can.
Exactly.
Because I want to. Because I want to fuck with people. I want people to hear a song and it's going to be like Blue October. Then they're going to hear a thrash song. Then they're going to hear a pop punk song. Then they're going to hear a hip hop song. Then they're going to hear something that's going to combine all that shit together in a way that motherfuckers just going to be like,
mind blown.
You know?
What the hell?
Yeah. But you know what? I want to do it, man. Because I can. And fuck yeah. Why not? And I'm with you, dude. 3-6 Mafia. You know, what a great group. Genre wise, came at a time when
one of the most iconic ever.
Yeah. But they more than that, dude, they came at a time when music needed them. You know what I'm saying? Like, people were kind of burnt out on the West Coast, East Coast thing a little bit. So as great as West Coast was and as great as East Coast was, at that early, kind of late 90s, early 2000 break, we needed something a little different. And 3-6 came along with Pastor Troy and Little John and David Banner, and they gave us something that was gritty and dark and kind of different, you know, like it had that swagger that hip hop had lost. And you know, that was, to me, that's the biggest thing about Southern rap. I think, like, it's got that swagger, you know, like it's just that bombastic element, whether it's Luda, whether it's Boosie, whether it's whatever. You know, it's got that fucking swagger, man. Like, it's just that.
Luda, somebody I didn't mention. I actually listened to him a lot when I grew up too.
Boosie?
Luda and Boosie.
Oh, Luda, yeah.
Boosie was more my high school era.
Yeah. Luda took me a minute to kind of. First couple times I heard Luda, I had only heard that like fantasy song that he did with Shauna. And I was kind of like,
which is fire.
And then one of my boys put that on, and I was like, all right, dude got some wordplay. You know, he go ahead. And then he came out with Move. And when he came out with that, I was like, all right, that's a badass song, you know. Move, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch, get out the way. I was like, all right, that's a cool ass song. Like, you couldn't help but love that song. It just, again, it had that swagger, dude, that, you know, and
it should still play today.
Yeah. And
play that everywhere.
Yeah, you know, and then he was in Fast and Furious and he started acting, and you seen that Luda wasn't one dimensional. Like, Luda was very bigger than life, you know. And again, I think that's what made, you know, Boosie is the same way. Like, Boosie is kind of a victim of his own not knowing when to shut the fuck up. But
really straight as hell.
But Boosie is Boosie. Like, Boosie's a bad dude. Like, Boosie don't give a shit. Like, Boosie will pull up on you, you know. Like, Boosie's a real dude. Like, he just...
Actually, that just made me think of something. Have you seen that interview of his daughter rapping?
No.
I can't remember what she goes by, but she is hard.
That doesn't shock me. Like, the last thing I
She sounds just like his ass. I was like, damn. I was like, she sounds just like her daddy.
the last thing I seen with Boosie is when him and his son were out shopping, and Lil Nas's uncle or somebody rolled up on him, tried talking some shit, and Boosie just flipped out. Like I'm like, y'all motherfuckers realize that man will shoot you, right? Like that is the last man you want to roll up on acting stupid. Like
that's the
you know that man was on death row, right?
Like, last person.
Yeah, like
his son the same way.
But and Boosie had to pull his son back. Like
Tootie will slap the shit out of you.
Like, look, there are two motherfuckers in music currently right now that I would not pull up on and try some dumb shit. And they're from the same area. One is Boosie, the other one is Kevin Gates. Like, because Gates,
I was thinking Kevin Gates in my head. I was waiting to see if you said it.
Yeah, like Gates.
I just seen him live when he was in OKC.
Gates is he amuses
look like one of them people that will slap you.
And he amuses me because, you know, Gates, he's a hard dude. He's rough around the edges. But then that motherfucker will sit down in an interview and he'll come off the dome with some Malcolm X type of shit.
Just educate your ass.
And it'll be like
what? Did he just say that?
Yeah, like, and you
like, did I just learn something?
Think that Kevin Gates would say some shit like that, like, you know, like he come off like Dr. Umar or some shit, like, you know, it's like, damn, you know, and Gates always does it when you least expect it. You know, like he'll be talking about some silly shit, and you kind of be laughing with him or something, and he'll just get quiet, and then he'll say some profound shit, and you're just kind of like, damn.
Like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, but he's another dude. Like, he just strikes me as a type of dude who would, you know, and if he didn't fuck you up, his security would fuck you up. You know, the other one I don't know, and I know this one for sure. The other one I know for sure that would fuck you up. I don't know if you've seen him out of New York, Nems.
Nems, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's the one who created that whole Bing Bong thing.
Bing Bong thing.
Yeah, it was all over like that. Bing Bong.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Bing Bong.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, he's another one. Like, he is a big New York heavyweight, and he's another one. Like, he is funny as shit, but he reminds me of Worm so much. Like, he's got that humor. He's a good dude, gold heart. But he's got that street in him, man, that you just are not going to take out of him. And if you walk up on him and say some silly shit, Nems is just going to level your ass. And he's a big dude. Like, he's a 6'4", 325-pound Puerto Rican Irish dude.
Jesus.
You know, so
I think I've seen him in a video now that you say that.
Yeah, he's always he does the Don't Disrespect Me videos, and he does like the street podcast. And
okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, kind of looks like a cross between Fat Joe and Big Pun a little bit. But I mean it in a good way. If you hear that, I don't mean that as an insult. I love Nems. Like, I think Nems is one of the funniest dudes, and the shit he be rapping about, it's so disrespectful. Like, you know, like, Nems is the only dude I've ever seen do a battle rap and literally make his opponent fucking break down in tears.
I think that's where I've seen him.
Yeah,
I thought he was a battle rap. Okay, yeah.
Like,
I'm pretty sure I've seen him battle rap.
He did that battle rap against Just Ice, and that motherfucker made Just Ice break down in tears. Like, he made that man cry. I'm like, damn, that's hard. Like,
during the battle, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, dude.
Damn, I gotta go watch that one.
Dude, he talk about how do you say it? Send your bitch out for a swisher. Or no, it's like, I fucked your bitch while I set you out for a swisher. And then something about drop kicking his dog or something. You know, and it's just like, Nems be saying the most disrespectful shit and doesn't even give a shit. You know, like, it's just the way he says it is funny. You know, like, he has this Marine drill sergeant delivery So like if you took the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket and mixed it with Big Pun, that's the way Nems be delivering his shit, man. It's got that Marine drill sergeant type of vibe to it. Like he's saying this shit to insult you, and he doesn't give a shit because I'm a 6'4", 325-pound Puerto Rican. What the fuck you gonna do about it?
Exactly.
I'm from Coney Island, bitch. Come see me. And it's just like I'm so amused by Nems, dude, because he's just everything he says is so fucking funny. It's almost like a comedy act, but at the same time, he's got one of them voices like Scarface and 40 and thing. Like his shit is hard. And you got a record, man. Let's get back on you. You got a record coming out. Tell everyone about the record. I know we're not going to go into the song titles and that, but I'll kind of tell them what the title
of the song title. I mean, I ain't going to release the date, but
yeah. Kind of talk about the song, or I'm sorry, the title of the record that's coming out, kind of where it come from, that kind of. I totally got us off track on.
Yeah, so it's called Mr. Invincible.
Yeah,
and the cover is actually me holding the world above my head in Dragon Ball Z form. Nice. I wanted it to be anime just because I just felt like it would be more eye catching. But so back in 2021, actually, when I met DJ Paul and them, I had tubes in my back. I had nephrostomy tubes.
Okay.
Because I had a blockage in my kidneys. It goes along with my birth defect, and it's a long ass story. But basically, so I'm doing an album called The Explanation that I'm dropping in 2024, along with a documentary. So Mr. Invincible came around as basically. So last year I didn't drop shit because I was going through depression and dealing with all that health shit, trying to basically get my life back. So that's where Mr. Invincible was created. I kind of just thought of it as something to drop in the meantime while I get this album ready. So it's basically a lead up into the album, and it's 5 songs. It was actually I had a different producer on it. I had Pungent Beats on it. You ever heard of Pungent Beats? No. I was talking to him about it, and it just fell through. I don't really even know what happened there, but that didn't happen. Then I ended up meeting my engineer, Kid Cade. Shout out Kid Cade. I met him through another artist named Cheyenne Davis. Shout out Cheyenne. She's on the project too.
Nice.
They're both on the same song. He actually raps too. He's a man of many hats. But I met him, and then he started recording me and stuff, and I was like, well, I got this EP I want to do. And it just fell through together like that, and he is the producer on all 5 songs, and he's engineered every song. We created in this room I'm sitting in right now. So
nice.
Yeah,
you know what?
Came together.
Yeah, that's a thing, man. Like, I love technology. That technology has allowed. All right, let me rephrase this. I love that technology has given a voice to people that would have never had a voice otherwise. Mainly on the sense like you, me, people that don't have the big budget to be able to go into a big studio and spend unlimited amounts of money to record stuff. Because at $100 to $200 an hour, that shit gets expensive real quick.
Quick.
Like I can tell you the very first record I ever recorded was with the band Psychotic Therapy. We recorded 6 songs. It cost us, we were a local band with no label support whatsoever. And in 1991, when we recorded it, it cost us almost $6,000 to record 6 songs.
Damn.
So,
jeez,
it adds up really quick when you get to the studio time, the production, the mastering, the mixing. That all
There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. So artists now have the ability to put studios together in their homes, in their garages. And while that is a double-edged sword, because I put this in the nicest possible way, I've heard some shit from people that shouldn't be allowed within 50 feet of a microphone. It is allowed other people like Excursion and Dynasty and you and me and a lot of others to record really great music from their home. Now, Billie Eilish, whatever your opinion of Billie Eilish is, her record was recorded in her bedroom, essentially. So, skill set wise, you can do great things with home studios. Flip side of it,
the right engineer.
Yeah, you can do horrific shit with it too. So, I love that technology has evolved to allow people to have that voice. And keep in mind, for those of you listening, my opinion is only my opinion. Just because I think it's bad doesn't mean you have to think it's bad. I'm not an Eminem fan. I respect Eminem, and I've said this 1,000 times. This isn't even a new revelation. I respect Eminem for what he's done. I realize M is M, but the man has never said anything that I personally connect to on a lyrical level. Now Royce is my number one. Like Royce is the dude that.
Royce is that dude.
Yeah, like Royce to me. Yeah, I always make the joke like M can't be the greatest of all time because M ain't even the greatest in Detroit. People are like, what do you mean? And I'm like, dude, Royce is the greatest in Detroit. Okay, like if you're from Detroit,
I'm not even gonna argue that one because I agree.
If you've been to Detroit, Royce is the dude that people look to. Royce and Fat Father and Trick are three dudes that these are the people look to on the real. They don't call M up. Part of it's because M is kind of above it, but at the same time, M's not a street dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
M is where M is because he connected with Dre and Snoop and those guys, and he made his way. But Royce, even though he's been at that level, still very accessible on a day-to-day. I can pick a phone up right now, and I can call Aztec the Barfly. I can call Royce's manager. I can call Fat Father. I can call Foul Mouth. All of those guys are accessible that have that street following in Detroit and have that thread that if I need it, I could pull from it. I'm not a Detroit rapper, so I'm not going to because it's not really my style. But I give M credit. So just because I don't like it, I'm not telling you not to like it. Hey, great. It is what it is. And it's weird. Like I love NF, but I can't stand M. And I know that seems contradictory, but I relate to NF's lyrics more than I do. Because to me, NF has a lot of shit like Blue October. Like when Nate raps,
he puts his soul in his music.
Yeah, like you feel those lyrics. He talks about shit in his head and the voices and the emotions and
I shit don't even have to be sad and it'll make you cry.
Yeah, like I have literally sat in a dark room with the thoughts that NF has rapped about. Okay, so I can relate to that. But M is just kind of on his own little thing. And if you relate to it, awesome. Cool.
I have a couple songs I relate to. Not everything.
Yeah, I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan, but I ain't gonna hate nobody for hating Nicki. Nicki's got some dance stuff.
Nicki, one of my favorites, I can't lie.
Yeah. I'm a Latifah fan. Like they're God didn't create a more perfect woman than Latifah in my eyes. Okay. Like now I realize the whole this, that, and the other thing
Mhm.
is what it is. But when you look at Latifah, man, the sense of humor, the acting ability, the rapping ability, she's beautiful. She can sing, right? I mean, she really is
Was
just
there
a
not to like, basically?
phenomenal, phenomenal woman. So you know, I say it tongue in cheek, like, you know, that Latifah really is a perfect woman to me. Um, Patti LaBelle is another one. Like, I love Patti LaBelle. Um, you know, just for her sense of humor and her presence. And Patty is just one of them women who she walks into a room and you can't help but look at Patty. Like, she just bigger than life, you know. Um, but yeah, so um when this comes out, this record, is it going to be physical copies? Is it going to just be online? Are there going to be videos?
I'm gonna do both, and I don't have any music videos right now. I can't afford it. I'm on disability, so
I same here, bro.
got to do what I got to do. I eventually want to for
Right.
a lot of my songs that I have out already, plus these, but it's just a budget thing. It's the way my bank
Understand.
account set up, as Kevin Hart would say.
Bro,
So
I get it.
that's just how it goes.
I had
People
a
want
half inch.
money for music videos, so
Yeah, like I had a half-inch chain hit me right here. Took 86 stitches to close, destroyed my frontal lobe. I live in this thing. Like, I rarely leave the house because my impulse control is destroyed. And um, it's I get it, bro. Like, when I read your bio, like, it literally, bro, was like, all right, I got to talk to this dude because I get the struggle. I get the fight that it takes to sometimes just get out of bed, sometimes to want to even be bothered to do something because you're physically tired, you're mentally tired. And even though you try to be a nice guy, there's always some asshole who has to say or do something stupid that, you know, like, just going to Walmart is a ordeal for me.
hell, I rarely go to Walmart nowadays.
But I'm saying,
That's
anything, bro, like,
hellhole.
just going out of the house for me is an ordeal because there's always that one motherfucker who's got to say something stupid or do something stupid or make that dumbass comment. And then you look at them like, you know, and then they look at you and they're like, do we have a problem? Well, there can
We
be a
can.
problem if you want one, but, you know, like,
If you
it
want
ain't even
one.
that serious. Like, and I try to use humor, but I get that struggle, dude. And I get living on a budget. Like, I got an 11-year-old son whose mother pays zero in child support. I cannot get the state to do a goddamn thing about it. You know, this woman, $6,000 behind in child support, and they treat it like it's a fucking joke. But you let my ass be behind in child support payments, and I'll be in handcuffs for the end of the damn night.
Right, exactly.
You know, so it's like,
America.
whatever. We just do our thing, man. And I am thankful that when we had the divorce, I got sole custody across the board, and I have my son, and I don't have to deal with that circus no more, you know. So I feel this, bro. Like, I can't wait to hear these songs and hear your story and your what you're putting into them, you know, because I know where you're coming from mindset wise. And don't take this the wrong way, because I don't mean it how it's going to come out, but you will come across those people that sometimes the emotion and the art itself go beyond the sum of the whole record. You know, like, maybe the production isn't flawless, maybe the lyrics aren't flawless, maybe there's some aspect that isn't going to put it up there with Doggy Style or The Chronic, but you can feel that person's heart, you can feel their soul, you can feel their emotion in it, And that makes it just as good or better because that shit wasn't made in no studio. That shit wasn't fabricated. That shit wasn't created in some program. That's just the soul and the personality coming through the real, and that's more important to be as a listener than anything else. Yeah. Like I would much rather have a flawed CD from somebody that has real emotion in it than to have something that is all shiny and perfect, but just has no soul in it. Like, I don't know, man. Like, got to get my train of thought back. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna throw some random questions at this dude. Let me bring this up real quick.
I like it.
I have this thing I always end the show with. It is called the Music Gods Random Questions of Stupidity.
Oh shit. This should be good.
The idea essentially it started out as it was going to be a card game, kind of like Cards of Humanity. Mm-hmm. But then other podcasts have ran with it. I've done it enough that other people have heard it and have created their own versions of it. My shit is the original. I've been doing this for like 7 fucking years. So long before Pod Decks.
The OG, in other words.
Yeah, like long before Pod Decks or Barstool Sports or any of y'all motherfuckers had these fucking icebreaker questions. I had the Music Guys Random Questions of Stupidity. And I can go all the way back to 2015, 2016 with this shit. So y'all can kiss my ass if you say you came up with this idea. Let me get right into it. Let's start with this one. This is a category called Who Wins in a Fight? I'm going to give you 2 names. You tell me who wins in a no holds barred, anything goes fight.
Okay.
Who wins in a fight between Urkel and Screech?
Oh, shit. I got to go Urkel. He more hood.
He got them legs, man. He got them spider legs.
Whoop Screech ass.
He got them spider legs wrapped them legs around you like Anderson Silva and just.
Screech, he used to back down too much.
Who wins in a fight between Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I'm gonna go Mickey. I don't really know why, but I just feel like Mickey would win that one. I feel like they'd probably both throw hands.
Yeah.
But I feel like Mickey would
I feel like Bugs would pull a bomb or something out of his
trying to carry it into a bomb or some shit.
Yeah. Last one in this category. Who wins in a fight between Theo Huxtable or Eddie Winslow?
Oh, jeez. Probably Eddie.
Yeah.
He's more muscled. He's more. Yeah. That's like the Urkel thing. He's more street.
Yeah, like I say, Theo just kind of,
He too much of a pretty boy.
Yeah, like
for the ladies.
Yeah, like Theo versus Eddie is kind of like who wins in a fight between like Carlton and Will.
Right.
Like one is just kind of got that white bread upbringing, and the other's still got that little bit of street in them that would probably come out.
Whoop yeah.
Let's see what other categories we got. Pick one. I'm gonna give you 2 things, and you pick. Fruity Pebbles or Captain Crunch?
Captain Crunch. That was easy.
Wu-Tang or NWA?
Oh hell. Oh, NWA. They're the ones that started it. I can't go against them.
No,
There
I'm
wouldn't be
with
no
you.
Wu-Tang without NWA. That's how I feel about it.
Yep, I'm with you. Um, Michael Jackson or Prince?
Oh, damn. Just because I'm probably gonna get hell for this, but I don't know enough Prince songs, so I'm gonna say Michael Jackson.
That's
I
respectable.
I listen to Michael Jackson more. I learned about Prince more when I was
Yeah.
older. So
I'm the opposite. I'm a Prince fanatic. So um I love Michael, don't get me wrong. God rest his soul.
ain't nothing like
You
Man
know,
in the
for
Mirror.
yeah, like for all of the craziness that surrounded Michael, he was still the king of pop. But Prince, man, he was just in a
Prince was
universe.
good. I just don't know enough about him to pick him over Michael. So
27 instruments, some of the greatest songs. You know, that man died with 12,000 songs in his
damn, that
vault.
many? I didn't realize it was
Yeah.
that many.
Yep.
Yeah.
Prince died with enough songs in his vault that they could release a 12-song record for the next 100 years and not run out of songs.
Jeez. That man ain't never, that name is going to live on forever.
Yeah.
Lord.
So
That's crazy.
And they didn't even realize how much music was in that vault until he died. When his sister and auntie went in there and they realized how much music
That's crazy.
was in there, you know, and it's good music, but it wasn't up to Prince's standards, so Prince never released it.
Yeah.
And now that they're releasing it, you're hearing it, you're like, damn, these are great songs, but they just weren't up to Prince's standard per se.
Yeah.
So Prince never released them. And that's the crazy thing. Like, these are songs that probably be a hit song for any other pop star in the world. And Prince just kind of like, yeah.
You know, just set that one off to the side real quick.
Yeah, like, you know,
maybe
like
one day.
Nothing Compares to You. Like, think about Nothing Compares to You. He gave that song to Sinead because he didn't think it was good enough to be a Prince song.
Which is crazy.
Right?
Amazing song.
You know, I Feel For You by Shaka Khan. He didn't feel that was good enough to be a Prince song. Like, yeah, like I mean, that's just crazy, you know.
Classics.
Sugar Walls by Sheena Easton, you know, Tina Marie, Animation, all of these great artists that Prince wrote all of these massive 80s hits for. And he did it not because he wanted to, but he wrote the songs and they weren't good enough to be a Prince song, so he gave them to friends or artists that he liked, and they're big massive fucking hits. So that's what's amazing about Prince to me is Prince was just, you know, and I got to see Prince live one time, and that man,
that's crazy.
Yeah, like it was Cobo Arena in Detroit, and that man sat at a piano for 2 hours. Didn't even use his band. He sat at a piano with a spotlight on him, and for 2 hours he held that audience like a fucking marionette, bro. Like he had us eating out of his hand like we were puppets, bro. It was. There were points in that show that you could have dropped a napkin on the floor and heard that sumbitch hit the floor. Like it was fucking surreal, bro. And I loved Prince before that, but after that night, I just knew that Prince is probably the greatest single musician that we'll ever have in our lifetime, or the next 5 probably. What if you could collaborate with one musician for a song or a record of any kind? Who's a musician that you would love to, or maybe not a musician, but just maybe a songwriter or a producer or whatever that you would love to collaborate on something with?
Since you said that, it's got to be either I'm gonna go for the producer. Probably either Dre or Timbaland,
Nice.
just because I want to rap on one of them beats
Yeah.
so bad. Timbaland
Yeah.
it would probably be the number one,
Yeah. And
and
me,
of course, but
and me,
that one's a
it's Snow
given.
Goons. Me, it's Snow Goons. Like, just you know, I want to be in a Snow Goon song. Okay, like that's my pinnacle. Put me on a Snow Goon song, and you ain't gonna be able to tell me shit. Okay, like I'm done. That's it. I've achieved my pinnacle. It's as high in the hip hop world as I could possibly achieve. Maybe other than being on a song with KSR One.
No,
But I have no grand illusion that's ever going to happen. So, we're gonna push that one off to the side. And if it happens, it happens. But,
maybe
you
one
know,
day.
yeah.
You never know. You
But
might see the
Goons is
podcast.
achievable. Yeah, like Snow Goons is achievable per se. Like,
Yeah.
like I've got the connections to possibly make that happen if I'm good enough. So, that would be somebody that I would love to collab with because
Trying to think of a
shit.
rapper that I would want to collab with.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
really
a few.
know. There's a
me.
bunch. Yeah, there's a lot that I would want to collab with, honestly. Paul Wall's a big one.
Yeah. There's a few for me. Nems is one because I love Nems's humor and his shit, and KSR1 is one. Justin from Blue October is one. There's a few, but those are the main ones that influence me heavily and whatnot. And Royce is one that I would love to.
I would love to do a song.
Even though we have completely different styles.
Royce would be crazy. I would freak out about this song with Royce.
Yeah. Royce is, man, that dude is just so godlike. Like, I don't know what other term to use for Royce. Like even the M songs that I like are the ones he's done with Royce.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Because to me, it's just like, Royce
level.
seems to bring M up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he brings that shit out of M. Like, okay, M knows that when he's standing next to Royce, he's got to be serious and he's got to just
like a competition.
Ring it. Yeah.
Like who can set the mic on fire together, first?
Yeah, like that song Caterpillar.
Crazy.
Those two going off.
Insane.
But because, and you don't hear that, at least I don't. When I listen to M, I don't hear that ferociousness in M all of the time like you do on Bad Meets Evil, like you do on the M and Roy stuff, because those two just bring it out of each other, man. And that's a good thing to me. Like, I respect that. And, it's Royce is just one of them dudes. Like, I don't know Royce. I'd love to know Royce, but I listen to his shit and I'm just amazed by the shit that Royce does because, the way he phases shit, and Royce is somebody I've noticed, like, sometimes he'll have a beat that I don't even like the beat, but that man can rap over that beat and actually make a bad beat good because he'll put some badass lyrics on it, man.
Those type of rappers are special too.
Yeah, like that beat wouldn't be anything without Royce spitting over it, man. Like, that's just an average ass beat, but Royce made that shit sound like fucking bad. So,
I like rapping on beats like that.
Yeah, like I want to learn to make my own beats, but I really don't know the first thing about it. So that's going to be my first step.
I tried and it's hard as hell. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stick to rapping. This shit. I ain't got the patience for that shit.
We're gonna see what happens on my end. Like, if I suck at it, then we're just gonna move on and go to the other side. But I got a few ideas and I want to try to at least pull something out. Who is someone that you would not want to sit next to on a airplane flight?
Somebody I would not want to sit next to on an airplane flight. I don't remember his name. Damn it. That dude with that weird ass voice. The screechy ass voice. What was his name?
I'm not sure.
I don't even know how to explain how.
Oh, Gilbert Godfrey.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name to save my life, but I can't do his voice. He's funny as shit, but I can.
Yeah.
I would go crazy. I would lose my mind. Would not be. I'd be like, man, I gotta go to sleep or something. I'm gonna have to.
Gilbert is yeah. Gilbert. Yeah. And you know he didn't actually
be laughing for hours, but
you know he didn't actually sound like that in real life.
What?
Yeah, he didn't actually sound like that. Was a complete
blew my
character.
mind.
That's a complete character that he played. Just like Larry the Cable Guy. If you hear Larry talk normal, like Larry sounds just like us. Like Larry's actually from Nebraska.
That's crazy. I am not. I just look stupid then.
Yeah, like Larry is just an average dude, but then he walks out on stage and he's, you might be or
country as hell.
Yeah, like no, he didn't do Here's Your Sign. He's what is it that Larry does? Larry does I don't know, but anyway, Larry's the one who messed me up because I had heard Larry and didn't realize that it was him, and it started out. He would call into this radio show and nobody would take him seriously. So he started doing these characters, these voices, and they thought the voices were funny. So he started calling in more, and then they kind of made him part of the morning team and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until he started doing these characters that he became famous and become a comedian. But he talks in just a normal voice like Tim Allen. Like when you hear Larry actually talk, he just is a normal, everyday guy with no hint of redneck in his voice whatsoever.
It's crazy.
And Gilbert was the same way. Gilbert actually had a normal New York accent. Like he had a Bronx accent.
I've never seen no interviews or anything like that with him.
Yeah, because Gilbert very rarely talked out of character. Because that's where the bread and butter was. That's what made Gilbert.
He knew how to make that money.
But there are recordings. If you look on YouTube, there are recordings of Gilbert just talking normal. And he had a normal, typical New York accent. He grew up in the Bronx and he had a typical Bronx accent. So that's
what Gilbert, if you're watching, I'd do it if you wouldn't do the accent.
Gilbert passed away, so
oh yeah, damn, dumb again.
He was a hilarious dude though. I think for me personally, it would have to be Seth Rogen.
I love Seth.
There is something about Seth Rogen that just makes me want to stab myself in the face. I love like James and Dave Franco. I like, I don't like Will Ferrell, but I can handle Will. And I like Cal Penn and John Chow and all of those guys that have been in all the movies. But there's something about Seth that
that's crazy.
Just gets under my skin. I don't even know what it is. Like, I don't even know what it is about Seth, but there's just something about Seth that just is like, and Dane Cook is another one. Like Dane Cook.
That one I can agree with.
Is the most unfunny fucking comedian.
I always thought that too. I'm like, how does this even come like comedy? Like
we went to see somebody live and Dane was there and Dane did stand up and I just sat in the front row. And I didn't want to heckle Dane, but I kind of wanted to heckle Dane because I was going to I wanted to yell out, are you going to be fucking funny at some point? Like I sat there for 30 minutes listening to Dane, just thinking to myself, you going to tell a joke at some point, motherfucker? Right. Like, you are not funny, bro. Like at all.
This is a comedy skit, right?
Yeah, Now, Christopher Titus, he's somebody that I would love to sit next to. I love Christopher Titus.
Christopher Cade.
Um,
Trying to remember who that is.
he he had the TV show for a while, and he kind of Christopher Titus's dad was a total maniac. So he grew up in this really abusive home. His mom was psychotic, and his dad was a nutcase. And he does a lot of comedy about his parents and shit. Um, one of his newer ones, I laughed. He went through this divorce, and he walks out on stage, and he's like, if you never contemplated suicide, you have never been in love. And if you've never contemplated murder, well, you've never been fucking divorced.
No.
And he just goes from there. He's like, I did this last comedy special. And he's like, I got home and I didn't really have an idea for a next one. And I said to myself, God, I need new material. God said, you're getting divorced. Turns out you got to be a lot more fucking specific with God. He just goes into this whole spiel about his divorce and shit. And Christopher Titus just kills me. Like, he is so fucking funny. Like, I would piss myself crying.
He does the dark humor, what does that like?
And it's funny, like, politically, me and Christopher Titus are complete opposite ends of the spectrum. But at the same time, comedy wise, the shit that Titus says is so fucking hilarious. But anywho, we're going to kind of wrap this up because we have talked about a little bit of everything. When this comes out, is there a website that's going to be available on? Where do people find you on social media? Where do they go to find out or find any previous music you might have released, like your YouTube channel and that kind of stuff? Where do they go to find out?
So the EP will be on all platforms. And I have all social media. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My Facebook is D3CADE, D3CADE, all caps, music. And then my Instagram is D3CADE_580. And then my Twitter is Decade580. So without the underscore. And then honestly, if you just search on Google, just type in D3CADE in all caps on Google, I come right up. And that's the easiest way to find me, is what I tell people all the time. I say that at shows and people laugh at me. I'm like, that's literally the best way to find me. You gotta Google me. Like,
yeah,
make fun, like, Google me, bitch. Like, that's literally what you gotta do.
Like,
Google is a very vital thing nowadays.
Yeah, like, people think I'm being cocky when I say it, but I tell people all the time when, where's your podcast at? Just go to Google and type in The Music God.
That easy.
You'll see it all. Right on the setmedia.rocks, you'll see The Music God reacts, you'll see The Music God reviews, you'll see, just everything Music God is all right there. Like, I have made that a brand to where everything, you want to find me on Twitter, Music God CJ Plain. Want to find me on Instagram, Music God CJ Plain. Want to find me on TikTok, Music God CJ Plain. It's all just, it's very simple. Like, I live by a simple philosophy: KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. So
if you want, I can give you the track list as an exclusive thing.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like, if you want to, like, kind of,
it's only 5 songs.
Like, we'll take it out on any last thoughts you have, anything you want to add that I might have missed or forgot.
I'll mention this before I mention the track list. So me and Excursion actually been talking, and we're actually going to do a collab tape.
Nice.
Together, and it's going to be produced by K Makes Beats.
All right, cool.
Talked about her, but she produced my first album, and she's produced a lot of shit for him. So
yeah,
if we were going to do a collab tape, it had to be her, because we refuse, because she knows us so well that she'll be able to make the perfect beats for us. So that's going to be 6 songs, and we don't have a name or anything yet. That's like in the beginning stages, but I mentioned to them that I was going to mention it on here, so I had to throw that in there real quick. But Yeah, the track list for Mr. Invincible, it starts with number one is intro. I'm calling it Mr. Invincible, but I'm calling it intro with Mr. Invincible in parentheses.
Right.
And then number two is weak in the knees. 3 is ready or not. 4 I'm calling TTT, but in parentheses it's to the top. And that's the one featuring Cheyenne Davis and Kid Cade. That's more like the fun track on the project. It's not all seriousness. Everything else is serious because I was doing a lot of venting on it. It's the lead up to my album, so I wanted to kind of give people an idea of where I'm going with the album. And then to end it, it's a song called When Will It End? And that one's a pretty deep one. They're all kind of deep in their own way, but that one is probably the deepest, I'd say. Because, I mean, the name of it alone, When Will It End? It makes you think. Right. And then Ready or Not, I actually came up with probably like 2 weeks ago. I heard the beat and I was like, yeah, I got to use this beat for the project. And then I came up with the hook, and it's like an anthem, like Ready or Not. And then it's a banger. That one's one of them. I'll send you a snippet of it. But
no, it's I get it, man. Like I said, like sometimes you just know. Like you'll hear something and it will trigger something in you. That I've got a song that I've had for one of my oldest songs. I've had a title for it forever.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really like the title because of the way it was phased. It didn't really roll off the tongue. It's a little too long. And then I was watching TV the other day, and one of the titles of the episode of the show I was watching, when I seen the title of the episode, I was like, oh, that's got to be the title of the song. Because it's just,
I do shit like that all the time.
Yeah, like
all the time.
The song originally was called How I Learned to Say Fuck You.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically about growing up in a racist family and, coming out of it and whatnot. But I didn't like the title because it doesn't flow off the tongue. How I Learned to Say Fuck You doesn't really flow.
Yeah.
And I was watching Godfather of Harlem the other night, and there was an episode called The Hate That Hate Produced. And I was like,
that's it.
The Hate That Hate Produced. And it's a perfect title because the song is literally about growing up in a racist family and the hatred that, I learned and had to unlearn and shit like that. So I was like, The Hate That Hate Produced, and it's like me saying fuck you to all of the people who taught me that. And I was like, yo, we're going with that one. And I was like, it's like song title scratch. Write that down. So sometimes you just know. Like I said, you'll hear something or you'll see something and it will trigger. And that's the coolest thing. Like I said.
One other thing I didn't mention. The album, I didn't really talk about the album that much. The album, it's called The Explanation. The cover is actually me laying in a hospital bed. So the cover alone is deep. But that whole project is over 20 songs. But it's actually being produced by a kid that I met on Facebook in India. He lives in India.
Okay.
So
that's
like a bragging rights for me, is what I say.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in Oklahoma that's working with somebody in India. So that's the power of the internet. So
and going back to going back to it, like I said, the power of the internet, technology has opened it up to where
crazy.
like think about it in the terms of excursion. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when we were teenagers, laying on our bed, looking at posters of the people that we idolized, nothing in our head said that at some point I'm going to be able to make a phone call and I'm going to be able to collaborate with Yuckmouth. I'm going to be able to collaborate with SIBO. I'm going to be able to collaborate with Snow Goons or KSR1 or anybody of that stature. You know what I'm saying? And now you got people out here that simply through a Facebook message, through a phone call, through the technology that is available, you can get on a track with your fucking heroes, man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how I met DJ Paul, Instagram.
That's what I'm saying. That shit is surreal.
It was crazy.
Like seriously, as a teenager, did you ever think that one day you will talk to that man face to face?
Never in my life. And he actually hugged me when we met. It was crazy. I was like, I'm being hugged by my idol right now. I was like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, he was cool as hell too. One of the most down to earth people I've ever met.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's what I say about Jelly. For those of you that don't know Jelly, the Jelly you see is the Jelly that man is. There's no front to Jelly, bro. There's no facades, bullshit, or anything else. Jelly is the realest dude you will ever meet in your life. Treat that man with respect, he will treat you with respect. Disrespect that man, I'll promise you, he will get disrespectful real fucking quick. You know, and Bunny will
compare to him so many damn times. Yeah. I showed somebody my music the other night and they compared me to him. They were like, okay, Jelly Roll. I was like, it's the rapping, maybe. But I can't sing for shit. But
that is when, truthfully, that's when you just shrug and say thank you.
Right? I'm like, I'll take that comparison any day of the week.
You know, I'm saying, like, I compare Excursion all the time to Method Man, and I think it annoys him. But at the same time, he takes it in stride because he knows, like, I don't mean it to be insulting. Like,
it's not a disrespectful thing. It's
like,
yeah, I've told him that before too.
Yeah, for real. Dude, thank you for coming on here. Thank you for allowing me to have you on here. This definitely would not be the last time that I will have you in here.
Me and Excursion got a tape on the way, so I'm sure we'll get back on here.
Yup. When this comes out, we will definitely we'll be doing the Music God reviews and all that other fun stuff with it and talk about it and all that. But
yes, sir. I'm dropping the track list probably in like 2 weeks. I'm waiting to get the art back. So
cool. Keep me in the loop on all of this, man, because I like what I've heard so far, and I really look forward to hearing this. And
thank you.
Like I said, when I get my stuff up and running and going, I'm definitely gonna hit you up. And
most definitely,
I got a few ideas to toss around because
country boy on there.
Yeah, like I don't really have anyone in mind per se, like as far as collaborations or people I want to work with. I just know what I want it to sound like. And when I hear that right person for it, we're gonna go for it. But I'm like you, bro. I'm working on a budget. Like I get $800 a month. That's what I got to work with. And I still got to pay bills above and beyond paying motherfuckers to do shit. So
that's what people don't understand. I'm like, yeah, I have a certain amount of money, but you don't understand. Like, that's all I get.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't just throw you $500. That's over half of the money I get.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I want to make my own beats, because as much as I would
gonna cooperate with me, we ain't gonna work. That's just how it is.
Exactly.
You either want to work with me or you don't. Either want to work with me or you care about money. You don't fit the same.
As much as I would love to drop $250 on a fire ass beat,
I would love to be able to pay producers that, because I feel like that's what they're worth. But at the same time, I'm like, I gotta play the card.
I gotta eat, bro. Like I got a kid that's gotta eat. I got a kid that needs clothes and shit like that. So
what I gotta do.
It's a struggle, bro. It's the struggle. But we gonna wrap this up. This is Noize Report. This is Cade Henderson. This is D3CADE.
D3CADE, yes sir.
Excuse me. Heard everywhere to find his stuff. Go out, check him out. When this record comes out, Mr. Invincible, stream this thing, buy this thing, do all of the things that like we know full well we are never going to be millionaires off of this.
Add it to your playlist.
But at least help us buy a couple Happy Meals. You know what I'm saying? Like, plus some ramen
chicken nuggets.
You know what I'm saying? Put some chicken nuggets in the freezer, some ramen noodles in the cupboard, some DiGiorno pizzas in the freezer, man. Like, you know,
I like Totino's, but
you know what I'm
DiGiorno's
saying?
cool too.
But whatever, man. Like, it's just, like, look, if we make nothing off of this other than some groceries, at least we eat.
Yeah, I'm eating. That's all that
You
matters.
know, at least we eat. So, brother, it's been a pleasure. With that said, we're gonna wrap this up. This is the Noize Report, and we're out. Well, hold on. How's the stop recording button there?